Chapter 4, Alexa Brenner. Arriving at the school, Darius parks in the closest stall he finds. One of the problems of coming later is that the parking stalls are mostly filled up. I don't mind. It only takes a few extra seconds to walk the further distance. Darius walks slightly in front of me as we approach the door. He lets go of my hand to throw open the door. I grab the door as it closes in front of me. I open it and follow him through. Regaining my steps slightly behind him, we retrace our normal morning steps. We walk down one hall, turn into another, and finally walk into the cafeteria. Immediately spotting Miles sitting at the table in the corner, both Darius and I go to him. I take a seat. Miles looks at me with a curious look on his face. "You're looking a little green. Are you all right?" I think I'm a little hungover. Correcting my posture and taking in a deep breath, I try to chase the look of being green away. "Would you like some water?" he asks. "No thanks, I'm good." A slight smile and widening of my eyes, I hope, is enough to convince him. It doesn't work. Miles pushes his seat back and stands up all at once in a smooth move. He walks through one of the two open glass doors and talks to one of the lunch ladies in the kitchen. She disappears around a corner for a second before reappearing with a bottle of water. Miles takes the bottle with a nod. He walks back over to me, placing the bottle in front of me. "Drink up, it will help." I take a sip of the cold water before looking to where Darius should have been. Looking around me, he isn't anywhere in sight. I hadn't noticed him leaving, and he didn't say anything about leaving. Did I do something wrong? "He left just after you sat down. Probably had to go talk to a teacher or something. How's your head?" Miles asks. Immediately, I resign from any attempts at bringing the topic away from my health, knowing that I wouldn't win anyway. It's mornings like this that make me think it might be time to join you and stop after one. You and I both know that's not going to happen, but give it 10 years and you might not even touch alcohol. Burrowing my face into my hands on the table, I shake my head. "Here, let me try something. Give me one of your hands." I raise my head. The request, although weird, intrigues me enough to do it. Giving him my right hand, he takes it in one of his. He places my hand palm side down on his hand, then places his other hand in between my thumb and pointer finger. Miles then squeezes the area right in between those fingers. My mind focuses on the warmth of his hand under mine and the pressure in my hand. The two feelings combined start a sort of electric tingling. When he lets go of everything stops and my mind focuses on my surroundings. The end of the shrill ring of the bell tells me it's time to go to class. Class time. He gathers a book bag he had hanging from the back of his chair and heads off swiftly. Standing up, I turn to head off to my first class. My head doesn't hurt anymore. What did Miles do to me? Something with pressure points, I'm sure. I should ask him about it later. He's all into the naturalistic health stuff. But as odd as it is sometimes, it may be useful as if it cures hangovers that quickly. Going down the hall, in through a set of doors, I go upstairs and through another set of doors leading into the girls' change room. Finding my locker in the second row, I set about opening it. Not remembering the actual combination, I turn the dial around to the numbers I think it is. I guess it's fine, as the lock has leeway from excessive use. The lock opens and in turn I take off the lock and open the locker. I take out my gym shoes and then my gym clothes, putting them on the bench behind me, proceeding to change quickly as a couple of other stragglers do the same. Finishing up, I put all my clothes into the locker and lock it shut. Walking around the corner and through the door, I hurry down the stairs and through another door across the one that leads to the hallway. Coming into the gym, I see everyone gathered on the bleachers still talking about whatever to their friends. With no coach in sight, the normal order of everyone set up in a line alphabetically isn't there. Looking around, I can't find Darius anywhere. I sit down on the bleachers and wait for either Darius to show up or the coach to start the class. All around me, people continue to go on with their conversations. Every once in a while, however, I can feel people glance in my direction. The assumption that at least one of conversations has turned to me is backed up with a whisper that sounds like my name. Each class at lunch, every moment in the school is filled with people who can't keep their own business. I look over the direction where my name came from. The source of it could be one of 4 people, none of which should be talking about me. Maybe they weren't. Turning back, I ignore them, taking instead to biting my thumbnail. The sound of the creaking gym door quietens most of the people. Its noise is the telltale sign that the coach is here. Coach Renner walks up to the center of the mass of students with a clipboard in his hand. "All right, let's get through this. Run for 5 minutes, stretch, then we can play our last class of volleyball." The coach looks over the class. He runs through his class list, calling out names of people who aren't there or he doesn't see right away. He waves us to start orders. People uproot themselves from the bleachers and start running around the outer lines of the gym floor. Following them, I get up and start running, more of a fast jog. I go through gym class as though I'm going through the motions. Darius was supposed to be here, but he's ditching today. After changing back into my normal clothes, I head to the one place I can always return to, the art room. The teacher allows all students she has taught to return to her classroom at any time, as long as there is no conflict with other teachers. I have it for the next class anyway, but it's nice to know I can join early after getting out of gym class a few minutes before the bell. Walking down the art walk, I take notice of one of the newest paintings on the wall. The painterly effect on the painting is the signature of an amazing artist I know. Checking the bottom right corner confirms my suspicion. The captivating wolf acrylic painting artist is Miles. Each paint stroke creates a texture you can feel with your eyes. The attention to detail of the animal shows the passion and pure talent of the artist. Continuing down the hallway, I turn the corner and go into the art room. The space is abuzz with people chatting away while doing their art. I go around the back of the room, and from the acrylic paintbrushes drawer, I grab all the different sizes and different bristle brushes I could need, along with kit number 7. Stepping up the steep steps to the upper level in the room, I go to my table. The art piece I'm working on is waiting there. I set down my assigned art kit. Miles works on another piece at the table next to mine. The bare starting of blocking is the only hint to what the painting will end up being, and even then it doesn't tell much. A couple of reference pictures sit in different places on the table. One picture is of an orange and purple sunset with rays of sun coming out from behind the clouds. The other picture is a valley-focused picture with the city far off in the background. Going back downstairs, I collect a few more items I'll need before heading back upstairs. Placing everything down onto the table, I set everything up how I like it, the same place for everything every day. Everything is out of my art kit and placed to my right. The water is placed right off to the top corner of my canvas, and the paper towel is to my left. Miles lifts his head from his work after noticing my arrival. He takes the headphones out of his ears. Hey, Alexa. Hey, saw your wolf painting. Amazing. I take a seat on the stool. The metal scrapes against the floor, causing me to cringe as I pull in closer to the desk. Miles grins toothily. Thanks, your portrait is coming along great. Thanks. I look over to my canvas. A 5-year-old redhead smiles at me from behind the white daisy. Her freckles pop against her light skin. Light blue eyes gaze into my own. The innocence behind the little girl is depicted in the almost finished painting. At least I think so. Are you going to Darius's today? He asks while going back to the painting. No, not today. I have to go to the house. The little girl I'm painting reminds me that I need to go to June's today. Going to check up on Raylene? Miles has gotten attached to the little girl after only meeting her twice. I nod, realizing immediately that he probably isn't looking at me. Yeah. How's she doing? A hint of interest touches his voice. I know he wants more than a standard one-word response. Good, she's doing better in school and making friends, still as bubbly as ever. She's getting so excited for Christmas already, even more so than her birthday. The simplicity and innocence in the girl charms me back into the familial need to protect her. She immediately attaches to me when I go to June's. I feel guilty suddenly that I don't see her as much as I should. Christmas is exciting when you're little, Miles reasons. True. I pick up a paintbrush and brush the dry brush slightly above the surface of the painting. Once I get a feel of the painting again, I know what I need to do next. Looking over to Miles, I see him putting his headphones back in his ears. Going to do the same, I pull the paintbrush down and pull out my iPod out of the pocket. Unraveling the headphones, I turn the iPod, put the headphones in my ears, and press play. The creativity in the music kicks my creativity into action, an inspiration in another form of art. Stroke by stroke, I create on the canvas, blending the colors in a way only acrylic paint allows me to. The soft blends allow realism as much as a picture allows. I blend and blend directly on the canvas until satisfied. Getting the right blends to match her skin tone with both highlights and shadows is difficult, and sometimes I accidentally miscalculate the color. This happens now. I clean off the brush and remix until I get it right, detailed blending and texturing the fabric and design of the dress. The flower petals are smooth to the sight. The final details I meticulously paint in. The last lines are put into place, looking over the picture and each time finding one last thing that needs to be fixed or added in. One problem with painting someone you know. There's always one last thing that needs to be fixed to make it perfect. My right ear headphone is tugged out of my ear. I look to my side. Miles had pulled it out. Bell rang, he said simply. Cleaning up his station, he waits for me to clean up mine. I trash my paper towel, then saran wrap the plate. I dump my dirty water and wash the paintbrushes. Once everything is done, I put things back into the kit and put them all away. Miles waits for me right outside the room. We turn the corner down the art walk. I look at some more of the paintings, hoping to see something I hadn't noticed yet. Nothing catches on my eyes. We turn into the cafeteria and walk into the corner table Miles had been sitting at this morning. Everyone is there already. Darius, Kelly, and Shale. I find a couple of people I don't recognize socializing with them. The light brown-skinned girl has red-brown hair that whisks down in front of her shoulders and flows slightly longer in the back. Getting closer to her, I notice a tiny stud in her nose. Scanning up her face to her eyes, I find her staring at me. She looks through me with almost all orange eyes, baby blue circling them. She looks my way, belittling me with her gaze. She takes her eyes off of me, so I follow her example. Switching my gaze to the man, I look him over as well. His dark brown complexion, the clean-cut brand clothing and shoes, golden necklace and ring, and perfect posture speak of a more privileged background. Darius walks between the parted couple and stops just in front of them. He separates Miles and me as we come within reach, pulling me with him as he faces me towards the unfamiliar faces. Lexi meets Sandra and Ram. Darius looks away for a moment. A slight ringing starts and stops very quickly. The moment passes and Darius seems to get a slight twitch in his eyebrow. We're leaving. Things to do. Have a good lunch with Miles. I'll see you after school. He lets his arm down from my back and quickly kisses my forehead. Like they had all been suddenly dismissed, the group walks out the double door exit. I turn to face Miles. He looks concerned, almost worried, as he watches them leave. Moving suddenly, he goes to the table and moves the chair back to its original position. Miles takes his book bag off his shoulder, drawing up the flap and unzipping the top zipper. Miles reaches into the bag. He pulls out his lunch in a brown paper bag. Are you okay? I ask as I take the seat right across from him. His brow is still scrunched. He continues unpacking his food, taking the top off the container with his sandwich in it, pulling an apple out, and taking the top off of a reusable bottle to take a drink of the water inside. He doesn't look at me as he says, I'm fine. I don't believe you, I tell him. The side of his mouth twitches upwards. He looks me in the eyes. I'm fine. I pick up my eyebrow. Then what was that all about? He huffs. Miles looks to his right and then to me. Fine, I'm not, but I'd rather not talk about it. You'll find out soon enough anyway. Just leave it alone for now. I'm curious, however, out of respect for his unusual assertiveness, I give up. Looking over my shoulder, I look over to the quickly disappearing line. I quietly tell Miles I'll be back. Moving my seat back, I get up and walk to the back of the cafeteria line. When I make it to the cooler, I look up through the glass and prey on what is left of the selection. The tuna wrap and egg wrap don't seem too appetizing to me, and I had the veggie wrap the day before. A croissant filled with mustard, ham, lettuce, and tomato seems like the best choice. Sliding the window towards the other, I reach in and grab the sandwich. Taking the sandwich to the lunch lady, I tilt the top towards her to let her see the type of sandwich. She immediately types the price into the register, knowing the price from her experience. I pay the lady with a 5 and get my change quickly. I squeeze my way through the students waiting for cooked items. Going back to the table, I sit across from Miles. Quietly, I eat one half of the sandwich. Looking up at Miles, I search for something to say to him to talk to me about what's bothering him. Grabbing the other half, I concentrate more on looking around the room rather than Miles. Still not giving up on finding out what's wrong with the male across from me, I look to what happened right before his mood changed. He was fine in art class. It was just when we came up upon the group. So what was it about the group that made him so troubled? Could he have had a bad past with the two people Darius introduced me to? Could it be because Darius didn't take Miles with him and the rest of the group? My thought processes focus there for a moment. The odd scenario plays in my mind. It is out of character for Darius not to include Miles in anything and everything. What happened that made Darius not include Miles? Could Miles have done something to Darius? If so, what did he do? But if that was the case, why would Miles be acting this way? Maybe Darius did something, and who were those people anyway? All these questions swim in my mind, and I can't come up with the answers to any of them. The strangeness of it all causes more questions. Stop thinking so hard. I'm starting to smell smoke. I look at him dumbly for a moment before meaning behind the words he registers. I look at him dumbly for a moment before the meaning behind the words he spoke registers. I give him a playful glare in the light of him trying to lighten the mood. Hey, that's not nice. Whoever said I was nice? You know you shouldn't be listening to the voices in your head anymore. They lie to you, Miles says before he takes a bite of his sandwich. It gives me a moment to think about what to say next. I like the voices in my head. They're nice to me and keep me company when the other choice of company is annoying and uninteresting. Wow, they must not shut up at any other point other than when you're in my company. I feel sorry for you. Miles exaggerates movement to make himself seem all-important. He sits with perfect posture, raises his chin, and pulls at the edges of his buttoned shirt to pull out wrinkles. I laugh at his actions. This seems to bring his smile back into his eyes. A silent agreement comes between the two of us not to speak more on the previous subject. I won't dwell on it for now, but I'll get my answers eventually. Quietly, we eat the rest of our lunches. The bell rings sooner than I figured it would. Still, there is no sign of any of the group. Clearing up my garbage, I take it over to the garbage bin. I look back at the table and am unable to locate Miles. Broadening my search, I scan over the entire cafeteria, come up with nothing. Figuring I may have just missed him rather than him disappearing, I continue on my way. For my more academic classes in the afternoon, I go to my locker and grab my binder and science and social textbooks.